Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Roman Reigns is arguably the most notable WWE superstar of this decade. For most of his professional career, and since introducing the Tribal Chief, Roman worked as a villain. Mark Henry feels Reigns was best suited for that role. This Friday on SmackDown, the OTC showed some character traits that were seen when he was the biggest heel in the company. For instance, he ridiculed the Chicago crowd for not being very bright. He'd also intimidated Paul Heyman when the Wiseman stood up to him. Speaking on the Busted Open podcast, the WWE legend addressed these details from the Roman Reigns segment. Although Roman continues to add these layers to his persona, the fans love him fiercely. He has also leaned towards the babyface side of the spectrum for the last several months. Nevertheless, Henry claimed Reigns was born to play the bad guy, as royalty. Check out Mark Henry's comments in the podcast below. Veteran WWE manager Jim Cornette believes the OTC could face a major challenge after WrestleMania 41 from within the NOI family. To make matters worse for Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman stood up to him when Reigns demanded Heyman refuse to go through with CM Punk's favor. Mark Henry wondered if the Tribal Chief caught his Wiseman's subtle hint at a betrayal. The WrestleMania 41 Night 1 main event will be a triple threat grudge match between Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. According to Bully Ray, Heyman could turn on his favorites as part of an unprecedented storyline. Roman Reigns, the current WWE Universal Champion and self-proclaimed Tribal Chief, has undoubtedly cemented his place among the greatest wrestlers of his generation. However, his journey to the top was not without its challenges, and for a time, many fans and critics alike questioned whether Reigns would ever reach the potential that WWE had envisioned for him. In a surprising revelation, a WWE legend recently stated that Roman Reigns is, in fact, best suited in his previous role within the company, rather than the dominant Tribal Chief persona that has helped him dominate the wrestling world in recent years. While the idea of Reigns returning to a more familiar role might seem surprising to some, it has sparked an interesting debate about the evolution of Reigns as a performer and how his career trajectory has shaped him into the global megastar he is today. The early years, the struggle for identity. Roman Reigns' career began with a bang when he debuted as a member of The Shield in 2012. The Shield, consisting of Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose, quickly became one of the most iconic factions in WWE history. Each member of The Shield had distinct characteristics that set them apart. Reigns, however, was often seen as the silent powerhouse of the group, a role that was largely defined by his impressive physique, in-ring strength, and minimal promo work. While Reigns' character in The Shield resonated with fans, it was clear that the WWE brass had plans for him as a solo performer. The Shield split in 2014 saw Reigns being pushed as the next big thing for WWE, and in many ways he was presented as the heir apparent to the likes of John Cena and The Rock. However, this transition was far from smooth. The push to make Reigns the top babyface of the company was met with resistance from fans. Despite his undeniable talent, fans were not as invested in him as WWE had hoped. His character was largely one-dimensional, and his promos lacked the depth and emotional connection that other top stars, such as Cena or The Rock, had established over the years. The reactions from fans were mixed at best, with some booing him despite WWE's attempts to present him as the next big hero of the company. One of the most notable examples of Reigns' struggle to connect with the audience occurred at the 2015 Royal Rumble match. Reigns was heavily favored to win the match and earn a shot at the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. However, when Reigns emerged victorious, the reaction was one of anger and disappointment from the live crowd. Fans who were expecting fan favorite Daniel Bryan to win let their displeasure be known by booing Reigns relentlessly. The backlash was a clear signal to WWE that something needed to change. Roman Reigns, for all his talent and physicality, was not yet the superstar WWE envisioned him to be. And so he would undergo several more character evolutions in the years that followed, each time attempting to find a formula that would connect with the fans. The failed attempts, A character in flux. In the years following his initial push, Reigns continued to be positioned as the top face of WWE, but with little success in getting the audience to fully invest in him. WWE tried numerous approaches to make Reigns more palatable to the fans, from changing his attire to incorporating more aggressive elements into his persona. Despite these efforts, Reigns still lacked the depth needed to truly make the transition from good guy to top guy. Perhaps the most significant of these failed attempts was the 2018 Royal Rumble. At this event, Reigns had become the face of WWE, having been positioned as the key player in the company's main events for several years. His match against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 34 was expected to be the culmination of his journey. Unfortunately, the match itself was underwhelming, and Reigns' performance failed to garner the expected reaction from fans. The result was another wave of criticism, further damaging Reigns' standing as a top star in the company. The reaction from the WWE Universe was clear. Reigns was not yet ready to carry the company on his own. However, this was not the end of his story. Despite the criticism, Reigns had the physical tools and work ethic to improve, and WWE knew they needed to do something drastic to reinvent him. The turning point. The Tribal Chief persona. In 2020, Roman Reigns returned to WWE after a brief hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic. His return came at a time when WWE was struggling with a lack of fan presence and a tumultuous period for the company. Reigns, who had previously struggled to connect with the audience, came back with an entirely new attitude and character. Instead of being the smiling, heroic face of WWE, he embraced a darker, more complex persona, one that portrayed him as the tribal chief of the Samoan dynasty, the head of the table. This shift in character was a game-changer for Reigns. The tribal chief persona allowed him to showcase a more nuanced version of his character. Rather than simply being a generic babyface, he was now an arrogant, dominant heel who embraced his heritage and demanded respect from everyone around him. His promos were sharper, more personal, and his actions in the ring reflected his new attitude. The fans, initially skeptical, began to appreciate this more multifaceted character. In his new role, Reigns became one of the most compelling and dominant figures in the wrestling world. His matches with top stars like Edge, Daniel Bryan, and John Cena were all met with critical acclaim. The character transformation allowed Reigns to flourish, and the WWE Universe responded by embracing him as the top heel in the company. The shift to the Tribal Chief persona also allowed Reigns to finally capture the elusive Universal Championship at WWE Payback 2020, which he would hold for an unprecedented 1,000+ days. This reign elevated his status within WWE and solidified his place as one of the greatest champions of all time. With Paul Heyman by his side, Reigns became a dominant force in WWE, and his feuds with family members such as Jimmy and Jey Uso added layers of intrigue to his storyline. The WWE Legend's perspective. Given the monumental success that Reigns has achieved in his current Tribal Chief role, it may be surprising to hear a WWE legend express the opinion that he is best suited to his previous role as a member of The Shield. However, this perspective comes from a place of understanding the evolution of Reigns as a performer and recognizing the roots of his success. The WWE legend in question, who has been involved in the business for decades, believes that Reigns' earlier role as a member of The Shield was one where his natural athleticism, presence, and physicality were showcased without the added burden of carrying a solo persona. In The Shield, Reigns was allowed to focus on his in-ring work while also benefiting from the chemistry he shared with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. It was a simple, effective role that allowed Reigns to grow and gain valuable experience before taking on the responsibility of becoming a top star on his own. From the perspective of this WWE legend, Reigns was best suited to this role because it allowed him to focus on his strengths without the pressure of having to connect with the fans on a personal level. The Shield's success was built on the collective dynamic of its members, and Reigns, as a silent powerhouse, played a key role in that. While his time in the Shield was relatively brief, It provided Reigns with the foundation needed to build his solo career. However, the same WWE legend also recognizes that Reigns' evolution into the Tribal Chief persona was a necessary step in his development. The Tribal Chief character has been a revelation for Reigns, allowing him to showcase his acting chops, his ability to generate heat from the crowd, and his capacity for storytelling. Reigns' journey from the Shield to the Tribal Chief has been marked by trial and error, but each phase has helped shape him into the WWE megastar he is today. Conclusion: a career defined by growth. Roman Reigns' career is one of growth, transformation, and reinvention. From his early days in the Shield to his current reign as the Tribal Chief, Reigns has proven that he is willing to adapt and evolve in order to stay relevant in the ever-changing world of professional wrestling. While some may argue that Reigns was best suited in his earlier role as a member of the Shield, it is clear that his evolution into the Tribal Chief has been the key to his success. Reigns has found his true voice as a character, and WWE has allowed him the space to fully embrace his potential. The lessons he learned during his time in the Shield undoubtedly helped him become the performer he is today, but it was his willingness to reinvent himself that truly set him apart. In the end, Roman Reigns' story is a testament to the importance of growth and adaptation in professional wrestling. No one role can define a wrestler's entire career, and Reigns has proven that through his hard work, perseverance, and willingness to evolve, he is capable of achieving greatness in multiple roles. Whether as a member of the Shield or as the Tribal Chief, Reigns has shown that he is one of the most versatile and compelling performers in WWE history, and his journey is far from over. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our WWE official YouTube channel for more update news.